Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESL One Battlefield 4 Winter Group Stages. And we have already seen our first match of the night, and probably one of the quickest games all season.
Yeah, it was an astounding victory for Penta as they just completely trounced Omega. The Greek kind of, I was going to say the powerhouse or the power horse, it was more like kind of a really flimsy balsa wood Trojan horse at this point. They just kind of strolled on in.
Pinata Trojan horse.
Pinata, yeah. Exactly. They got thrown around, tossed around by the Penta side, and they go ahead and advance to the upper bracket where they're going to be waiting for the winner of this game right now. Enro versus Evolutiongamerz, and the roster is raising a couple of eyebrows on Mitch's side of things as he saw them load into the server. Yeah,
you know what? Let's jump into game because I'll show you them sort of visually. You can actually see. So Enro, so that's the TK team we saw last week. I think we actually watched them. But on the side of EGC, we see Safe in the lineup. I didn't think I'd see him again. Star is also there as well. Who was there last time as well, actually. Melisium is in the roster. Hysteria, actually, I think, was playing for EGC last week. He, I guess not this week. So Froxy and YSN Vimo there as well. It was in the initial elite lineup. He was in that sort of in that team. So I don't really know what the goal is here, but hey, Safe is at least back, and he's going to see what he can do with this new lineup. I'd definitely be interested to see what they can achieve here. Of course, Siege of Shanghai is their first map of the night, or at least of this match here as well, an Evolutiongamerz as well. I'd definitely tip them, Alex, to be the victor in this one.
Yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see what ex-Team TK, now Enro, under this new flag of Enro Griffins, can do up against a roster of, I mean, it's not necessarily the most star-studded roster, but, I mean, Safe, Melisium, YSN, all names that you've seen before. Star as well as someone that you were talking about. So these names are definitely familiar to the Battlefield scene. On the other side of things, I can't really comment too much on Team TK. They didn't manage to acquire too much in the regular season, just coming in at the 11th place, so narrowly getting in, of course, with a couple of dropouts from them. Just basically playing yeah, it was again the case of turning up to every week. We just basically didn't catch them on stream because they were knocked out before they even made enough progress to be streamed. Right now, though, we are going to be seeing Star pick up a frag. It's actually YSN, excuse me, who finds that with the AEK, and there's going to continue to quite quietly and calmly just go on a bit of a fragging hunt mission.
Yeah, I think the skill levels here are far closer than what we saw in that first match, but still Lodron will be down to the last player on his squad, and he's going to have to fight for his life here. At least the spawn coming in from Coach and Take, but they're forced well and truly back here. You see, this should be a MCOM plant. Well, decent at least vantage points here for Enro Griffins as they can sort of work out of that little shopping complex and fire down towards the that C site. But should be a plant in due time here. Take actually going for a little bit of flank. So, yeah, as I said, you know, these two teams, I mean, I don't really think Enro are the stronger on paper, but EGC in this lineup, I don't really think are well practiced together.
Yeah, I mean, this does have a mixed vibe to it, which can, you know, have its own faults, but also its own strengths as well. And we'll be seeing what Melisium can forge now as he's going to be going for that plant. It's very tough to plant, of course. You can see how much of a hold they've got from that complex. As he's going for that plant, he is going to be spotted, but I think he's just about getting the digits in. Oh, dearie me, the MCOM's down. Coach a little too slow on that one. The revive even coming in from YSN, and now EGZ dig themselves in, and it's going to be a problem. Actually, I was going to say for Enro, but Take could be a gift in disguise at this point.
It probably will still be a problem. I think Enro have played the last couple of minutes super defensively here and have essentially let that bomb be planted. So Take is going to try and flank around, go for something a little bit different here as well. But if he tries to flank on his own, he will get taken down. But this is good from Enro. They're converging on towards this one. Coach there gets a kill towards Star. Can he find his second there? He does. The GA team does the job. And that's essentially a squad wipe there as well, at least in the vicinity of that bomb. Take going for the defuse here. Safe thought he could flank through and be a bit of a hero, but he will fall. And EGZ, well, you know, they come up with a lot of bark, but their bike. They
have a bike?
They've got flat tires.
Dogs on bikes?
Yeah, I don't know. Their bike doesn't really seem to live up to the bark, I think.
Well, here they go. Anyway, trees and bark aside, we are going to be seeing them go ahead and try and make a push towards the B site. Not going to be easy, though. You can see Coach already does get taken down. Mowed down, I think, is a better way to describe what just happened. And now Take's going to take a bit of a standstill. He is quite literally just going to be waiting for his teammates to reconvene. They are rather spread out thin. And talking of spread out, look at EGZ. They are literally forging a line across the site. Just one exception, which is Froxy, who is just expecting that flank to be coming in. But right now, bit of a standstill over on Siege of Shanghai.
Enro don't seem like an aggressive team at all, really. I think they had to be, obviously, to try and get that MCOM sort of bomb defused earlier on. but they seem to be quite reluctant coming forward here, which just works out quite well for EGZ, and it's what let them get that first plant in the first place. So we'll see now if they try and push forward here. They haven't really made any meaningful openings. These players have to come forward and make them of their own. But there's Tate. He gets a nice little flank on towards Froxy as well. He takes him by surprise, but now he still backs off. He's not confident to push forward with the rest of his team. It was, I think, a 1-for-1 trade as they're trying to make their way in towards this B area. And Enro Griffins taking their time.
Both sides are kind of doing that. I think it's more just a case of EGZ happily just going to wait, anticipating that bomb to be brought to them. Oh, nice picks, though. This is maybe what Enro were waiting for. 2 quick frags, and look at that. Suddenly, they've got their running shoes on. A revive from Proxy could very well be a saving grace at this point, as they're about to be pressured. Numbers do nothing but add extra numbers to Smooth's score as he picks up 2. Star is going to be the little bit redeeming factor as he does take 1, but before the bomb goes down. But Enro, they've made a pretty good case for a plant here.
I want you guys to keep an eye on Breest as well. Last week, he was absolutely, well, he's stellar, definitely compared to the rest of his team there as well. So he's a player that can really go off, given the right circumstances. But here's the plant, and this is beautiful defense by Enro. They're really keeping EGZ back. It's just B mode and safe on the map right now, and they aren't really close enough to defuse this one at all. So a great start here for the German team. They're looking quite strong, and this cobbled together mix from EGZ seems to definitely lack a little bit of tactical depth. When the going gets tough, they seem to just sort of fall away a bit. And this is Breest holding on the side. He does have a nice little angle as well.
Absolutely in love with that angle. You can see he's just going to go down with the ship as well. As you can hear the squeal come in, he is just most definitely accepting his fate in this one. Or not, yep, he is going to go down. But that is going to be an MCOM picked up by Enro. And they take the first step towards picking up this first half. And that's around the 5-minute mark as well.
I think Breest would have liked to have stayed alive there as well. We're seeing like a bit of a switch now towards teams staying in enemy territory after the MCOM goes up instead of backing off to sort of pick up the bomb. Instead of sending 5 or 4 people back to go and get that bomb, they just send the 1 and they keep the bulk of their force in enemy territory to keep the enemy back and sort of pave the way for them to sort of get further plants. So we'll have to see now is Enro, again, looking fairly good. I'm not going to lie, this is impressive from them. Smooth takes down Star. Safe trying to work the street here as well, which is always, one of the go-tos for teams coming from the north. They've got to take control of that little shop area before they even bother trying to go for the bomb or pushing down towards the south. So Enro just taking their time. Safe does need to be an important pivot point right here now for EGZ. The time off seems to have hampered him a little bit here. He definitely doesn't seem to be able to make the impact that he'd like to, but he's leaving that bomb. He's not going for it. We do see that EGZ want to secure the area before they take the risk of pushing forward in numbers with that bomb.
Yeah, I mean, it's just about, what, 8 meters just around the corner from Safe. Instead, that they are all just spreading themselves out. Want to try and push Enro back and try and claim some of the map for themselves. It does look like it's actually going to be Froxy who steps up to the plate and is going to be the one to reacquire the explosive device. Safe is going to be revived as well, so Froxy doing a lot of utility for his team, both acquiring the bomb, getting the revives, and actually it's going to be very short-lived hype as it's going to be Smooth who does delete him. So, bomb's loose. As moved about, what, 5 meters from its original starting location, and now it's Lodrem who wants to have a go for himself.
Yeah, push forward here as well. Has a go at it. Melissim will be there to receive him. Quite an experienced Battlefield player. The guy's been around the block. It's not his first rodeo, that's for sure. Safe is actually able to get the G18 kill on towards Breest, but it's a response as well on towards Star. And both these teams keep each other about, maximum 3 or 4 players at any one time. The spawns are being staggered out here, so we're not seeing any pushes as 5. We're not seeing teams any sort of being able to amass those big numbers and come forward with them. So B mode here goes spread out. Bomb's still in the middle of the street. This is not really a fortuitous location for that to be left here. You can see Froxy is thinking about it, but he knows it's going to be quite risky to go for it. He gets take. I think there's another Enro player up that street. But, yeah, there's another one there. We see Lodrem actually, See, he looks for the revive instead of actually securing the immediate area. That's a big mistake.
It's a big mistake, and it could come back to bite them. As you can see, there's just 2 remaining. It's going to be Bryce and Coach. And I feel like they're not going to be too long for this world as well. The bomb is going to be going down courtesy of Safe. I say that. The nade forces him off. He's going to have to go for a second attempt now, and it looks like it's going to be this time that he does find success, as that's going to be the MCOM plant for EGZ, the first of its kind here in our second best of 3 of tonight's games here for the ESL One Battlefield 4 Winter 2015 group stages.
Bomb is down. B-Mode just going to be peeking out from this little building here as well. He flashed the shot, and Lodrem's actually able to respond on towards him here. Enro now coming from east to west in numbers, and Star's going to try and sit back behind the statue through the smoke, but it's not going to be enough. And Enro looks like they can't be stopped right now. Smooth is on the bomb. He does see the EGC player in the background. It's perfect work. He does actually get the kill, and he's still going to be interrupted. Froxy doing so much work right now to keep that bomb ticking away. He goes down finally. But B-Mode and Safe are there to watch as well. And Enro, they're really uncertain about this. How much do we have to secure this area before it's safe enough to go for a plant? Where are your smokes? That's a big question as well. Oh, Breest! He got one of his teammates with the Ace 23, but, well, we see the MCOM's gone up there, so they weren't even able to stop that one. And so as nice as Enro's attempt at coming back was, they have actually sort of fluffed themselves out of the lead here, and EGZ put themselves back in contention.
Yeah, and that was all really a case of just EGZ, the two remaining members, it was YSN and Safe, I believe, if not it was Safe and Star, who just sat in Complex and continually rained down fire. It was nades, it was rockets, it was bullets, anything required just to throw at that site and stop that defuse from being an easy process. And Enro most definitely struggled. They tripped and they stumbled, and that's going to be ourselves a little bit of a level playing field now. We could be going a little bit all the way, and it's a stark contrast to what we saw in the first game of tonight.
Yeah, so you can see now these two teams are fairly evenly matched here. It's not a huge deficit in skill, and you know we're now heading towards halftime. We've only got 30 seconds left here, so neither of these two teams is realistically going to be able to get a plant here, especially with that seaside already taken by EGZ. They need to push that a little bit further forward into either the seafood shop or into the car showroom. So at this stage, both teams are back away. You can see Breest as well is just doing the rounds. So we're going halftime at 1 apiece here, and it's a unconvincing result for either team. I think both of them made their own mistakes. I think, you know, EGZ definitely don't look that hot to trot. And the Enro have the advantage of at least being a team, I think, for a little bit longer than these guys. But, you know, we see in many cases that that's not all you really need.
Yep, and that does conclude our first half then. We're going to be going ahead and just seeing a bit of a... hopefully what that does mean is we're going to be having a very exciting second half. Because of the case of just one MCOM destruction on both sides, we basically are going to be seeing a full second half. Like, there's no real advantages being brought in because 2 MCOMs is a win now. That's it. That's the end of that, and it does kind of make things a little more exciting, actually, considering both... kind of EGZ came into this one in our eyes as the favourites because of the names that stood out to us. I've already started to make a couple of favourites on the side of Enro. We saw Bryce, who even took it down a couple of his teammates, but was still very ever present in terms of fragging. He picked up 12. In fact, the entire side of Enro without 3 frags separating top from bottom. So good to see consistent fragging from the German side.
Absolutely. I think they've got what it takes. They've played together for a while, as far as I understand here. The opening moments of this next half will be telling. I don't think there'll be the difference. I don't think we're going to see a Victor come out in those first few seconds, but I'll be interested to see how these two teams approach now, because essentially getting 1 MCOM detonation each in the first half nullifies that half. It keeps them on that level pegging as we go forward. So now they need to sort of be looking to you know, reset a little bit, go, okay, well, it wasn't great in that first half, but it wasn't bad either. And now we still need 2 MCOM detonations. We still need those 2 in this half to end things up. I mean, this could go 1-1 quite easily. The thing is, even if it does that, 3 MCOM detonations will end it. So we see some cases where a team can have 3 MCOM detonations and the game can still continue because there is still a possibility that the other team can achieve that within the half. Here it's not possible. So if either of these teams gets 2, that is the game, even if it's like a 2-1 scoreline in this half. So a little bit, you know, complicated scoring system, but the long and short of it is here, first team to 2 MCOM detonations wins, or most for the half. Yeah,
this is going to be one of the more clearest scoring systems because of the case of the first, where we basically are just going to go ahead and see first to 2 coming into then to our second half of our first map here in our second game of tonight's Battlefield Extravaganza. It's going to be an intriguing one with Locker and Paracel Storm awaiting in the sidelines, waiting in the wings, which potentially we could see considering how close these two teams appeared here on Siege of Shanghai.
Yeah, Locker will be super interesting. We see what a drilled and cohesive team like Penta can do to a less experienced team on it. But when you've got 2 teams that maybe aren't as sure of themselves, it can actually slow up a great deal here. So we'll put that to the side for now and see how this second half concludes. And the opening moments, again, is something I'm interested to see now. See Froxy looking towards that mid-street. Actually not going to see anyone pass it there. He did miss him. Wasn't able to spam Q quick enough, I guess, to get the spots. And EGC coming forward here. B-Mode trying to get aggressive. Will get taken down almost instantly there. Brees is about to send him packing. And honestly, probably one of my picks for most solid player from what we've seen from Enro so far. Safe is in the middle. A player that, you know, has not been known for being a massive fragger or a guy that it will shift the flow of a game just on his own back. He's definitely very much a glue for a team, a keeper of morale and a caller of shots. So having him in EGC is all well and good, but they have to make sure they're listening to him as well, or at least he's able to have the impact that he did in Epsilon. Because he's not a big fragger. He's not that guy. He's not a mindless fragger that you send around the map and get kills. That's not the point of having him in this lineup. So hopefully he gets to fill that role properly. But Malisi will come forward here as well in the middle. Brees to poke out to meet him. We'll just watch this corner for now.
It's actually a very good point you made about Safe. Is his presence in the roster could actually be understated just because, overstated, excuse me, because he hasn't got the team that he's, you know, put time into. This is more of a kind of mixed team, which is where the strategist and the caller can actually be a little bit more of a hindrance to a mix. You know, you consider some mixed teams actually best to have that unpredictability, and when someone's trying to throw structure at a mixed team, sometimes you're actually going to have a bit more of a kind of half hybrid between the two, and that's almost worse than anything else at this point. Either way, we are going to see a bit of a slow start. We are going to be seeing a couple of frags, relatively mindless frags though, considering the bomb has yet to be picked up, and so all of this does is really, it's just kind of my gun's bigger than your gun at this point. Nothing really of too much note, because the objective is the primary focus. The bomb's even going to be resetting. That's kind of testament to how quiet and irrelevant these first 2 minutes have been.
The issue is that these two teams are looking to, well, Enro more than anyone are looking to secure the area and not push forward. So their lack of interest in the bomb really indicates that they're maybe just want to take this one, you know, very bit by bit and make it sure it's safe to even come forward in the first place. A lot of teams come forward to make it safe to actually plant the bomb or do something like that here. So maybe things are back to front here, but things getting a little bit dicey actually here from Elysium, who's the last man on his squad, and he's been converged on as well. You can see in the bottom left, he will go down, and it was pretty much a squad wipe. Not quite as safe was alive, but it may as well have been because he had such a long walk to get back. Star's going to spawn in on him just to get closer towards the action. The bomb hasn't been touched. So had Enro actually had the bomb there and come forward, they could have planted it. But this passive play from them, you know, they secure the area, and then they swipe the enemy. They're like, cool, let's go back and get the bomb. And by the time you've done that, well, the enemy are already respawned and ready to defend again. You can see the bomb is on that MCOM site, but now with Smooth dying, he can't plant it. And that's what he was trying to do.
Oh, and this is great from Froxy, coming from behind. He's not only found 2 frags, he stopped to plant and got the bomb for himself. A huge play, and he's got away with his life. Drops the kit, doesn't need it. He's just going to be sprinting away straight towards the plant for himself, as he knows that they're going to be spawning in. He's anticipating a couple of Enro members. I say a couple. All 4, baby, spawning in. They're going to be hunting him down, and he's going to be intrigued to try and maybe pick up the pace. I'm seeing smokes, which is already kind of piquing my interest. I don't know how much more he's going to be kind of choosing to cover. No, it does look like he's going to hit the brakes. I think he's realised his teammates made the call that wait for the flank. And talking of flank, it's actually Safe who's creeping and crawling.
Let's see what he can do here as well. You know, most teams are looking in this direction in one way or another, so Safe has to be quite quick with the way he pokes up and gets around this one, I guess you could say. Straight towards the stairs. You know, even if he just spots from here, it's fine, and doesn't give away his presence. That would be totally acceptable. But he will. We'll get the shot on towards that side. So Froxy and Safe between them get 2. Safe trying to get some more spray over towards the side, and that's Priest going down. It's only a few players now left for Enro. They're getting gunned down on EGC here, able to walk in, take. What a crucial spot to be standing as the bomb pushes in. He at least gets Froxy. He slows up EGC, and they're Safe going down as well. So, you know, Enro are responding to this perfectly. They have players on the flank as well. But look at that lovely double from B-Mode, and that is going to take the wind out of the sails of Enro, and they should be able to come forward on towards this one now. So we can see how aggressive B-Mode is getting there with the G18. That's 3 kills for him in the last few seconds, and, well, Enro now, they're going to have to sit and watch this one get planted. They have to let it happen. They're going to have to play for the retake.
Yeah, this could be the first successful plant. Or actually, to be fair, this is the first plant of the game here in our second half. So far, we have seen a rather kind of to and fro mentality between these two teams. But EGC have stepped up to the plate, and now it comes down to Enro to try and close this gap. And look how difficult it's going to be. Look at B-Mode's position. That's gorgeous. Just playing the site beautifully, and you can see him doing a little cartwheel in frustration there across the map. As time becoming a bit of a factor here. 3 members of Enro are going to be pincering in, but I feel like EGC have got to let claws a little too deep into the flesh of this B site. And it does look like we are going to be seeing EGC successfully acquire first MCOM destruction here in our second half.
You know, I feel like we're seeing Enro's lack of confidence being illustrated in multiple contexts here. You know, if you think back towards the start of the round, and I did say that like our first opening plays will be quite telling. They got that squad wipe but didn't have the bomb with them. So they weren't even confident in that they could push forward and get the kills. And once they realized they didn't actually have the objective, they couldn't transition that into an objective because they didn't back themselves. And in that case as well, they danced around their bomb site for so long without really going in for it there. The fact that Safe could get up behind them and sort of sow discord and, you know, and cause such disruption, you know, was a big blow for them now. But Enro, I mean, the pendulum swings. It's very much a back and forth, a yo-yo kind of game here. Safe should be hitting those shots. He really should be. Unfortunately, not always easy with the Ace-23, so the AEK, sorry, to shoot across the street like that at that range. But Safe should be hitting those. He doesn't, and Enro now can move up to the bomb. And I think EGC have to play for a retake here. Lee's going to get a bit of aggression. Wow. Oh, no, it's almost going to be a complete squad right there. Breeze does get a revive on towards Lodrum, but he's going to be surrounded by enemies. And look at that, EGC get the wipe, and they can now come forward yet again.
Yeah, so it feels like Enro are kind of being forced down into a passive state. I think, you said before that Enro aren't a team that's been particularly aggressive. They are being a little bit kind of forced into this passive and submissive hold of the sites, as they are just going to be sitting back, laying back, and just taking what's being dealt by EGZ.
Absolutely. They're really, the pace of the game is being dictated for them, not by them. That's a very telling sign here for them now. They are able to turn things around, and that's purely because EGC have impaled themselves upon Enro, upon their defenses there. There's not much that, they really had to do except let them come to them, and they were to get the kills. So, bomb now in the hands of Lodrum. They're going to push back forward here towards that seaside. Take will be there first. Now, secure the area, but secure the area to plant, not just secure the area so you can have a breather and check your watch. It's really important as Take will go down, and EGC can respond quite quickly. This is Enro. They need to amp up the pace of the game here as well. They really need to start pumping this bomb along the map.
Yeah, this is the problem at the moment, considering Lodrum has the bomb. Like, whenever you have the bomb, the clock is ticking. The enemy know where one of your 5 members are. That's a really, an innate problem with this, is that you can see that they've basically got 2 minutes. And he's so far back. Like, yes, he can close the gap on C fast, but when they're already not having a fragger, they're a fragger down, you almost want to kind of take the bomb to a location, leave it, and start your fragging yourself. But right now, Star's doing all the fragging. Ace21 finds 2 over in that CQB environment, and now it's just going to be Smooth and Lodrum who are left standing. We are going to be seeing a revive come in, but I still feel like EGZ may have done the necessary work. Reminder, though, of course, from the first half, we did see a victory for the equal stead in the first half. So basically, this one MCOM destruction from EGZ could be all it takes in order to pick up the win here, and they have just 2 minutes to try and turn it around for Enro.
If there was ever a time of this game that was mandatory for Enro to get aggressive, it would be now. They must get an MCOM detonation to at least draw things up and go to stopwatch overtime, but they're not. Lodrum is sitting back here. This passive play from them, it blows my mind. Why are they sitting back right now? They have the bomb. I guess they're waiting for respawns in, but you're not going to break through EGZ. You're not going to equalize this game if you can't, if you don't have, an aggressive side to your play. You need to vary the dynamics here as well. The game state changes, and you have to change with it. But Enro looks like they're just laying down and accepting their fate and saying, "Well, this is."
I'm so confused.
Yeah. I personally, without being nasty, I don't enjoy this kind of play from them at all. I think first of all, logically, they have to be aggressive, and they're not being, so they're not going to win.
I mean, logic is going to be the key word here, because, they know they've lost if they don't plant, and yet we see Lodrum, he's been holding onto the bomb for far too long now, and he's sitting here. I mean, this is their bomb. They're closer to their bomb than they are the enemies at this point, and it feels a little foolish, but maybe I'm going to be eating my words, because he is on the move. 60 seconds, he needs to get that bomb down on C. He is being closed in. There is an encroaching force spearheaded by Safe, as he is going to be the one to try and get the peak on. They know exactly where Lodrum is. The question of getting this bomb down could be difficult. 49 seconds now, and if the bomb does not go down within the last 45 seconds, then it is game, folks. Enro is going to find one. The revive comes in as well, but now 40 seconds, and they need to get it down.
No, they get wiped. There you go, straight away. So that is that nail in the coffin for them on this map. And we've talked about the dangers of actually having a bomb and playing defensively with it as well. If you get run over the top of by an enemy team, then they can plant. They're already in the heart of your territory. They can just plant straight away here. So Enro, they lack the killer instinct. It sounds harsh to say that, but they do. They lack the ability to finish here. Yeah, they got a plant, sort of in that first half, and that was pretty good. But again, it was off the back of close to a squad wipe. It wasn't really that close. I don't know. A mentality change has to occur for them. Someone has to be calling that in their team. Someone has to be saying, look, guys, we have to go for this. We have to be getting aggressive. We need to, now start actually being a part of this game. But unfortunately, they really let EGZ just do what they liked here. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, while we're being fairly harsh on Enro, EGZ didn't look that stellar. I think there was some, some decent plays from some of their players. But by and large, it was Enro really lost the game themselves.
I think that's a very good point. I think what we need to consider is that we haven't really given EGZ too much credit as well. Like, this is a team that have got the players that you would expect to be winning a matchup like this. Yep. Team TK, of course, not really acquiring too many points. The fact that they barely breached the second round of the 5 cups prior to this group stage is kind of it is indicative of that. So the roster suggests EGZ should win, but I feel like they should be winning in a different fashion. That was a case of Enro just fumbling time after time. They were given opportunities to be successful. They had about 4 minutes to get an MCOM destruction. They had 2 players left for EGZ and still struggled. that's just a kind of a fail from Enro and not something special from EGZ. I haven't seen any real special, signs of the top 5 teams that they have been in the roster of EGZ.
Yep. Absolutely, I think, and that's a gelling thing as well. That's just teams trying to it takes some time to sort of work together and get that sort of cohesion going on. I really wouldn't have that dim a view of them, purely on the back of that one here as well. Yep. Looking at them here, I would say that they are the second best team in this group. With this lineup, I think
you're absolutely right. I think that's. But in this group, you have to remember, of course, we have Omega who. Were victim to what was the fastest game we've seen in a very long time. I think we've both kind of said that.
Yes.
And then you have of course, Enro Griffins as the other potential top 2, and I think that they have got some players worth watching. I've got my eyes on, but Lodram was the kind of a problem. I have a problem with Lodram because of that bomb hold. I don't know whether that was an individual decision or something that the team decided on, but that's kind of, I think that's kind of tarred his name a little bit, and I'm going to have to see what he can bring into our second map. You can see I'm badly flying around it now. Our second map will be Operation Locker. I apologize. I'm left-handed, and I'm trying to navigate the camera with my right hand.
Oh, you are left-handed as well.
That's my excuse. That's why I'm struggling.
Yeah, I didn't realize that, because obviously the caster desks here aren't set up for left-handed
for losers like me. So. Yeah, I actually use the mouse on my left hand, which apparently not many left-handers do. Like, they just kind of grind their teeth and accept that they're going to play right-handed, apparently.
I guess people just learn like that. I random, but I play pool left-handed. I'm a right-hander in every other way. It's just the way I learnt to play pool, and now it seems as natural as breathing. So, anyway, we are going to be into this one here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if Enro can hold on and show us something special here on Operation Locker. If it's going to be all about EGZ, the strength of their roster, the individual skill of their players, and maybe just something a little bit of an X factor coming from them here. But this is the kind of map, Alex, that really can either highlight the strengths of a team or expose their weaknesses.
Yeah, this is a real kind of make or break map. If you can play Operation Locker well, you've got yourselves a very good team. Because of the kind of punishing style of the map, it means that there's a whole lot of rotations. You can get caught out, mispositioned. If you don't communicate sufficiently, you're going to have problems. And now we get to see which team has got the gift of the gab and who can communicate and try and forge a victory the best. We are going to be seeing 2 players from EGZ manage to go completely bypass take. I don't know what has exactly happened there. Either way, we are going to be seeing Melisium then pick up the bomb initially. EGZ are given the opportunity to go for the initial push, and now we have to kind of question, how are they going to break through this? 4 members of Enro just lying in the catacombs.
Bring up the overlay for just a second as well, because it's something definitely worth pointing out. The map. Look, if Enro want to have control of this middle of this map, if they want to be aggressive, they need to use the outside. They need to put someone in towards the staircase so he can control that mid, fire in towards a watchtower and actually start taking control back for his team. But they're not doing that. They sit back here, and this is Evolutiongamerz now take their time. And all we're going to see is this back and forth now in the choke points. It's going to be who can just grind the other team out and push on through. Now, honestly, probably EGZ can. They're pushing into a tough situation, but there it is. B-mode makes the entry. Now, we move forward 1 step. It's like playing snakes and ladders or something like that as well. There's, there's plenty of pitfalls for the unwary here, but bit by bit, EGZ are coming forward. Enro down to 2 players. Yes, Breeze did manage to take care of B-mode, but there's a player still watching the outside. Take has been there for the last couple minutes, just hoping that someone pushes into him from the outside. He's not really going outside himself. He's not trying to create anything. He's not confident that he can win the 1v1, and you have to back yourself if you want to get your team into a commanding position on this map. Look at this. This is EGC just getting away with murder here, taking what they want, pillaging their way through. And we do see Safe going down there. I think it was him. But back and forth, it's still EGZ well and truly in enemy territory. Yeah,
Melisium is going to be revived as well. Now Star is going to be the man to try and get that bomb down. Foxy is there as well to try and provide some cover as the MCOM has been planted. We're going to be see how whether or not they can keep that A site safe. I realize I just said the MCOM instead of bomb, but I'm going to go ahead and move straight through that one. As it does look like Bryce was the only man given a chance to breathe before Enro got squad wiped. And the bodies just hit the floor, litter the battlefield, and it does look like EGZ are going to force him into the scary... Look at these spawns now. Look at that. They are miles away by their helipad, and then it's going to get mown down. As EGZ, they've got a great read on this one, and it does look like they're going to be taking one frag after another away from Enro.
And if you thought Enro had a problem with being too passive beforehand, now when they're locked outside of their own base, that problem is exacerbated on another level completely. You can see here that almost gets squad wiped yet again, just trying to get back inside because EGZ will gladly come towards him. They will gladly fight over the choke points. They will gladly 1v1, and they will gladly take that MCOM as it goes up in flames.
So, what does that spell for EGZ now, as they've already got a bit of a hold? And I'm intrigued by B-mode here. Hang on, I'll come back to that point because
I think they maybe should switch the G and Z in EGZ.
They are... Oh my god, they are literally next to each other. Either side of the wall.
Why does Lodrum, like, yeah, again, Lodrum, again, playing similarly to Take. So this isn't an individual thing, this is a team thing. This is, they're asking him to don't be aggressive, be passive, wait for someone to come to you. Maybe after that, after the fact, he will push out once he knows that he's gotten the better of his 1v1. But you'd love to see him actually come forward and go like, right, let's go, grab the bull by the horns, win the 1v1, get his way out from the outside of the map into the stairs. I mean, this is honestly, this is 101 for this map. This is like a 101. Oh, well, there you go. Lodrum, patience does pay, but he has to push forward now. He must come.
Yeah, and he's on his way as well. Now, what was interesting about like B-mode's positioning there was I have a very sneaking suspicion that the reason he was positioned there was primarily for a fast spawn from his teammates. Like, if they were to push in, like they do their initial push through the choke points. So let me just kind of demonstrate here. Initial push through the choke points. If they kind of all goes down in flames, the 4 players that were immediately in middle suddenly are spawning in here, and they've got this kind of wrap around from there. Like that would be my kind of my assumption, I suppose, with that play, and I can imagine that going very, very nicely for them. However, Lodrum's patience did net them a very handsome reward. 5 minutes left, though.
Melisium now, actually, interesting that he actually come forward with the G18 there to try and make his way through the choke point. And 3 grenades going to be thrown in there as well. Melisium will be able to heal himself up easily enough here. And here's the Mexican stand up towards the outside. B-mode, he's actually going to be forced away, goes quite low. Now, he does have a player there to back him up, or at least he did. So Lodrum is,
oh god,
I don't want to say he's camping, but he's playing super passively here as well, and he'll drop. I mean, they're just going to smoke him out, use that incendiary to take him down, and now Take. He's going to be the second line of defense, and he's just going to sit around the corner as well. So Enro, because the thing is, we saw them be aggressive at a few times on Siege of Shanghai. I just feel like this isn't a really confident map for them. I just don't think that, I don't think they're a camping team. I just don't think that they really back themselves too far in this one in terms of actually being aggressive and you know, dictating the flow of the game.
I think you're right. I think Belief could actually be playing quite a large part in this one, whether or not they're sure, like kind of not so sure in themselves maybe over here, or maybe they're still having a rant and a rave about what happened over on the first map over on Siege of Shanghai, where they were kind of not throwing the win away, but they were kind of not taking the best opportunities that were available to them, I think is the best way to summarize that one. Now, though, with 3 minutes 47 left on the clock, the bomb needs to go down in order to find an equalizer. And again, EGZ have control. Basically, they've been given an option now of just spend 3 minutes casually and calmly battling towards that site. Occasionally, you know, optionally, maybe get the MCOM down, but if not, they're just keeping control, keeping their foot on the gas, and guiding themselves into the second half with a win. They've
already managed to bypass that first key choke point, so they're already quite deep in enemy territory here, and it's just a matter of, it's a war of attrition now. Like, so they wear down the enemy, and well, they've done a great job of that. They're just down to just Lodrum, and that's Froxy being incredibly confident coming forward. Lodrum now here on your screen, actually, he's just going to cower. He's just going to sit tight. Pretty much the same way he's played all game, if I'm honest. And EGC, great rotation to see. That is going to catch Enro off guard. That's very, very smart. I think they kind of put 2 and 2 together and realized that the spawns were coming in towards that. And B-mode, you filthy devil. He's going to get one. And assume he's going to be able to find the second as well. He does knock them both down. In fact, I think his teammate did half the work for him there. Now we are going to be seeing Enro play for the retake. And appropriately named, it is going to be Take who starts to do just that, as he does land the frag, and he's going to continue to mow them down. Now it comes down to one man. It's going to be Froxy. We need to see what he can do, and he does beautifully alongside YSN, and now just Bryce. This could very well be the second MCOM destruction, Mitch. Yeah, I mean, they've got to make their way towards this very small opening. They don't know what's going to be awaiting them on the other side. There's so many players for EGZ that could be set up in this tunnel. They did see one player go up to high, so that's good. Enro had that information to work on. But still, Froxy got on towards Coach here. Breeze actually didn't bother to go for him now. He's actually looking over towards that other player, and wow, EGZ, great hold there as well. That's half time, and one map that we thought would play out a little bit slower here. It seems EGZ, by contrast to Enro, are looking a lot more confident on this one. Yeah, I mean, you said already it is EGZ's map. This is the one they chose to play, and I mean, it's already evident that there's a lot more cohesion, a lot more teamwork here. That's evidence to be said as well, that it's one of those maps that kind of allows teams with communication to shine. Look at how they played that one. Yep.
Froxy, on a kind of fragging note, picking up 16 is a very, very top performance from him. B-Mode was quite kind of hightailing behind him on 11, so just the 2 players finding double digits across the whole 10 currently on the server.
Now, I'm not sure if that's fraud or not.
I feel like
Fraud has played for EGZ this season.
And I feel like
that would make more sense to see him, Melisium, playing together. And Safe, I don't ever think he's played with SK, but I think he's definitely crossed paths with their players through the teams that he's been in before, with the MIM and.
I think it's Frodigsy is what he's actually got. That's not an O, that's a D.
Oh God,
do you think?
Is it? Might be. I'm not sure. Either way, I thought he was in the lineup here, but you know, it wouldn't surprise me seeing his score there as well.
No, it's
a no. It's a no, Froxy. Well, bad luck, you're Froxy. All right, so second half here coming up, Alex, and yeah, we'll just ask them in chat. Yeah, two MCOM detonations have already gone over towards Evolutiongamerz now, so that's massive amounts of pressure being put on Enro because they need to get 2 to even just stay in this one. They need to deny all possible MCOM detonations and they need to get them of their own. Now, the first part, denying them, not such a problem. They can do that. They can play defensive. They can sit back. Well, I mean, they didn't do a great job of it last half, but the caveat is that you need to be able to come forward and get your own MCOMs blown up, and this is not something that they've shown even the slightest hints of capability of doing on this map. They just sit back, stay in their own half, and allow themselves to be slowly whittled down.
It's that passive kind of word again. We've been talking about it an awful lot. It seems to be the kind of key word, buzzword surrounding Enro is that they are a very kind of passive team, passive-natured. They'll push if the enemy team push it into them and they got a couple of frags, but it's never going to be the other way around. We haven't seen too much instances of where Enro have actively hunted frags, tried to be the aggressor. It's more of a case of they're reactive as opposed to kind of the other type of active.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Enro though as well is that the one time we saw them get aggressive, it was their intent was not even to plant the bomb. Their intent was just to trade 1-for-1 as much as they could against Evolutiongamerz, and then there's a smoke cleared, and they're like, "Oh, we've got 4 players and they got none." They're like, nice, but they're like, "Wait a minute, we should have taken the bomb with us." They're like, "Yeah, that was never really the initial intent. I think we're just trying to kill them, and not worry about the bomb." It wasn't even picked up; it was still left on the street. So they're coming forward, and again, I'm talking about mental bandwidth here as well. They didn't really pay too much mind towards that bomb. They just came forward and said, "Let's just duke it out," and well, they found themselves kind of stranded by the time they went back to get the bomb. As you know, EGZ were already present and ready to receive them.
Oh wow, look at this. This is just a real statement in itself. Look at the amount of players from EGZ currently in the donut. This is usually a bit of a standstill. You usually see some teams kind of battle for control, but no, they are already completely demanding respect. The bomb is in the hands of Froxy. He's right knocking on the door of Enro, and they're forced already onto the back foot. The 2 players looking to change that though, looking to try and pull their team back into the driving seat was Take and Coach. Now both of them are going to be watching down from above as it comes down to just Lodrem, the last man standing in the Enro squad.
Credit to Enro, they actually came forward and fought in the donut this round. They had players up on those stairs as well, which actually gave them control. It came down to a 2v2. Oh, this could be beautiful from Lodrem. He gets the 2, but not the 3rd. Safe is able to shut him down, but that does slow up EGZ a little bit here by quite a large margin here as they sort of need to regroup from that, but they'll still push on. It's still a plant. And look at that, the spawns came in perfectly timed, and Enro have to play keepy uppy.
See what they've got then. Take does take the first step, and looks like he's going to be struggling to find the second. Melisium is going to be the one holding the blindfold. There's now, it's going to be Smooth, Lodrem, and Bryce left to try and find it. Bryce yet to find a frag yet, and that's going to be actually quite telling considering Smooth is in the same state. As it's 2 players yet to find anything, yet to even contribute in this half, and the bomb's already taken away. This could spell trouble. This could be the very end.
This is the end. This is the end. It's just Lodrem. It's a squad wipe, really. He's the last man standing. They're going to be able to take him down. Now, if Enro had actually if Enro got a plant in the first half, this wouldn't have ended the game. This would still mean they had a chance to do it, but of course they actually got nothing on the scoreboard as well. It's 3 MCOM detonations to 0, and Enro Griffins, they don't go out with a triumphant roar. They go out with a feeble squeak, as it were, and they do get run over the top of by Evolutiongamerz.
Yeah, so that kind of fizzles out, and in quite kind of alarming fashion, Enro Griffins displaying something, promising, I think, over on Shanghai. Because we came into this one, we're like, okay, EGZ look like they should be picking this one up. They are definitely what I would describe as the 2nd seed in this group, and they are, both on paper as well. However, we saw Shanghai, and it came to that, there was the first half ended 1 MCOM to 1 MCOM. We were like, right, this is a very different game to Omega versus Penta.
Sure.
Second map, looking at Locker, I wouldn't say that they were too different.
No, I think we saw confidence. I think EGC are like, wait a minute, we figured these guys out. They don't really seem that keen to fight. And when they do, we do seem to get the better of them here. The only time they were sort of winning out in those trades is when they were firing from defensive positions, and you always have a statistical advantage firing from there as well. So this is going to give us a very interesting elimination game. It's going to be Omega up against Enro. You know, Omega, who, I'll be honest, didn't really display much in either aggression or defense. He was very much Penta absolutely wiping the floor with them. And then Enro really just showing only one facet of gameplay here. So that's going to be interesting. Honestly, I really couldn't call it. It's going to be hard to say. I mean, the teams are going to take a bit of a break. They're going to do the map feeder and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to see them roll out here as well. Don't know what the map pool is going to look like at all. Very much an unknown game for us because we never see two lower seeded teams play each other, really, because they're always knocked out by the first round going up against top seeded teams. So this will be interesting. I really don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I think there is definitely going to be an intriguing aura surrounding these two teams because Omega, we didn't really get a chance to see them because they were against Penta. And we did get a little bit more of a taste of what their opponents of EGZ had to offer in that game right there. So, I mean, I think this one's up in the air and I think it's going to be a fun watch. So you guys should definitely stick around. That's
right, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back very, very soon with the last game. I know already, right? The last game of the night. It's going to be an elimination match between Enro, Griffins, and, of course, Omega Esports. Hang around for that one. It's sure to be interesting at the very least.